Boop, boop. Boop, boop. What up, what up, what up?
I don't know if a first aid kit will fix
We're
it.
live on YouTube.
Good thing we got Burn Girl.
We are live. We'll wait for people to hop in here. We'll talk about what's happening. The haps, as the kids say. Yankees over there talking about skit ideas for the content creation. You'll have that on those big jobs. What up, what up? What up? What's poppin'? We're gonna go over a letter that was sent by 231 military leaders to the general public. So, this is a letter to you guys. What up, Badge? Shout out Badger in the chat for always just being there, just being a cool dude, for hanging out, for supporting the show, for modding for us, for making sure people don't act crazy. You'll have that on this big job. What up, Roman? Okay, Nove. So we're going to be going over a letter. 231 military leaders sent this to the American people. All right? Is this going to piss me off? It should. It didn't piss me off. It gave me hope, and then it also gave me cause for concern. It's a bit of a wake-up call for me. You ever read something and you're like, oh, that's history. This is one of those things that I read, and I was like, oh, that's history. So, definitely interesting. What up, Buffalo? Beartron is here. Badger is Johnny on the spot mod. Yeah, he is. He is all the way down. So, I think what is happening, people are thinking that the Bearman 2.0 is the 2.0 version of the Bear Fact 3.0. And that's why they're like, what's the difference between the 2.0 and the 3.0? Because another person just asked that in the chat.
No, I think it's because they're close in price. They look similar.
Right, but they're not saying what's the difference between the Bear Min 2.0 and the Bear Fact 3.0. They're saying what's the difference between the Bear Fact 2.0 and 3.0.
Do you want to remove the 2.0?
No, I'm just saying like that. I think that's a thing that's happening. When did this come out? It came out in January. I read it on my channel about a month ago. That's when I really found it in the public. Tucker Carlson just talked about it yesterday or 2 days ago. But it is really interesting. All right, so we got about 50 people here. We're a couple minutes in. We'll start this letter. This is from 231 military leaders. It's all been signed. Some of the names have been redacted, which is interesting to me. These are not just like privates here. There's like lieutenant colonels, generals, stuff like that. So some high-ranking peeps, all right? So they start the letter with a quote from John Adams. It says, our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other. It's very interesting there. It says, it is necessary... Blah, blah, blah. Take two. We'll try again. I'll try to read here. All right. In the course of human events, it sometimes becomes necessary to admonish the lawless, encourage the faint-hearted, and strengthen the weak. We have reached just such a time in our history. The affairs of our nation are now steeped in adversarious corruption, and our once stalwart institution, including the Department of Defense, are failing to fulfill the moral obligations upon which they were founded. Standing upon our natural and constitutional rights, we hereby apprise the American people that we have exhausted all internal efforts to rectify recent criminal activity within the armed forces. In the Declaration of Independence, our founding fathers sought separation. We seek no separation, but through this letter and the efforts we pledge herein, we pursue restoration through accountability. We intend to rebuild trust and restore the rule of law, particularly within the armed forces. Ultimately, we strive to once again become a moral people, restoring our nation and making it again worthy of the great gift of liberty won by the colonial-era American people. While implementing the blank mandate, can't say it on here, but you know what mandate it is. Military leaders broke the law, trampled unconstitutional rights, denied informed consent, permitted unwilling medical experimentation, and suppressed the free exercise of religion. Service members and their families were significantly harmed by these actions. The suffering continues to be felt financially, emotionally, and physically. Some service members became part of our ever-growing veteran homeless population. Some developed debilitating injuries, and some even lost their lives. In an apparent attempt to avoid accountability, military leaders are continuing to ignore our communications regarding these injuries and the laws that were broken. 4. General Milley, Admiral Grady, General McConville, Admiral Gilday, Admiral Leshner, General Brown, General Berger, General Smith, and they continue to list a bunch of different generals, lieutenants, admirals, right? This is who they're addressing. These individuals enabled lawlessness and the unwilling experimentation on service members. The moral and physical injuries they helped inflict are significant. They betrayed the trust of service members and the American people. Their actions caused irreparable harm to the armed forces and the institutions for which we have fought and bled. These leaders refused to resign or take any other action to hold themselves accountable, nor have they attempted to repair the harm their policies and actions have caused. Since there has yet to be any accountability, the undersigned give our word to do everything morally permissible and legally possible to hold our own leadership accountable. We intend to rebuild trust by demonstrating that leaders cannot cast aside constitutional rights or the law for political expediency. The flag and general officers are far from the only ones complicit in recent illegal activities, as a significant number of SES leaders and political appointees contributed. Evidence indicates that other executive agencies are engaging in illegal activity. However, as service members and veterans, we feel particularly responsible for the DoD, and in accordance with our oaths, we will make every effort to demonstrate by example how an institution can put its own house in order. We, the undersigned, on behalf of hundreds of thousands of service members and the American people, while appealing to the supreme judge of the world for guidance and purity of intention, mutually pledge to each other that we will do everything in our power through lawful word and action to hold accountable military leaders who failed to follow the law when their leadership and moral courage was most desperately needed. In the coming years, thousands within our network will run for Congress, seek appointments to executive branch offices, while those of us still serving on active duty will continue to put fulfilling our oaths ahead of striving for rank or position. For those who achieve the lawful authority to do so, we pledge to recall from retirement the military leaders who broke the law and will convene court-martials for the crimes they have committed. For those of us who attain legislative offices, we pledge to introduce legislation to remove all retirement income for the military leaders who were criminally complicit, and we will ensure none serve in or retire from the senior executive service. This endeavor will be a continuous process with a long-term horizon, but fulfilling our oaths to defend the Constitution requires just such persistent vigilance. Likewise, we are obligated, and so commit, to train those who will come after us to fulfill their duty in achieving this accountability and safeguarding against such leadership failures hereafter. Our nation was once great because it was good. It was built on moral principles founded in natural law, and yet the recent acceleration of moral relativism has us headed towards a precipitous implosion. While all good things come to an end, we refuse to allow our nation to go quietly into the depths of decadence and decay. We promise to exhaust all moral, ethical, and legal means to restore the rule of law and begin by attempting to hold senior military leaders accountable. The Constitution is the supreme law of our land. We will fight to enforce that law and put an end to the two-tier justice system. May future generations see our efforts and, God willing, may they also be recipients of the great gift of liberty that we have had the honor of safeguarding. Then you can go forth and you can see all of the signatures. And you can find this, all you have to Google is military accountability document or letter of military accountability. And you can see all the You can see all the signatures of the different personnel that took part in the crafting of this letter. These are all military leaders inside of our armed forces. Right there. And then you can see some redacted names. There's people inside Special Forces. There's people inside of Command. There's people inside of all branches, Coast Guard, Marine Corps, the Navy, the Air Force, the Army. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Keyword there, victory, yet. So we see this in this letter that is written to, this isn't written to the government, and this isn't written to military leaders. This is written to the American people. That letter is to the American people. Basically, that is the military leadership that sees what has happened go, we're sorry. We messed up. We need to get our house in order. There are a bunch of people that we need to hold accountable. They absolutely committed the crimes that you say they did. And we are going to do our absolute most to hold them accountable. Rhonda, this goes hard. As someone who left a job over this, I really appreciate it. Yeah, it was written January 1st. Yeah, it was part of the 2024 action of them. They've been working on this for a long time. So this is a very interesting piece of document here. And it's history. It's history, right? That last line, it's like, well, all good things come to an end. We refuse to go softly into the night of decadency and decay. Yeah, let's be about it, guys. Actions will show. Yeah, they absolutely will. So this is something for us to see. Internal conflict, very possible. Very, very possible. A house divided will not stand, guys. That's biblical right there. Caused my dad to say that he was ashamed he'd served in the Air Force, and that was heartbreaking. Yeah, I have a lot of friends who served. I have a lot of friends that left. I have buddies who are tier 1 operators that left. It's a shame, man. It's a shame. Maybe, just maybe, some people have found their no muscles and said enough. Maybe. I don't think it's going to get cleaned up. I don't think it'll get cleaned up easily. It's a big mess. Strikercade. That's why we all need to move to Alaska. No, I don't think that's the option. I understand what you're saying. I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. The Father has made that evident. But we should definitely come out of her by people. We should definitely be working to not be where bad things can happen. What up, Lou?
Hi, everybody.
Lauren, our media director. Amen, brother, preach it, because we have been divided for a long time and we, the people, have had enough. Yeah. And what does that mean? We, the people. Like, what does it mean that we have had enough? Are we continuing to support these broken institutions? Are we taking part in it? Are we acting against it? Are we acting against it legally, morally, ethically? These are all very important things. Very important things, you know? What was one of those founding guys? What did they say? When tyranny becomes law, rebellion becomes duty. So, and I'm not talking about rebellion in the negative sense. I'm talking about rebellion in the sense, like, do you grow your own food, right? Do you have the ability to treat yourself? Do you have the ability to not operate inside their system of unrighteousness? Personal excellence is the ultimate rebellion. Andy Frizella. Yep, it's true. One wonders, will it be time to pull us back from the brink? Some say it won't, but we need to try. K-Nobe, I refuse to lie to my ER patients. That's good. That's good. We need to be honest right now. Imagine if more people stood up. If everybody stood up inside the institution and said no, their orders wouldn't matter. It really wouldn't, you know. And that's the reality that people need to come to. You know, we can't just continue to allow evil to propagate itself. Strong men and women need to stand up and say, no, I'm not doing that. That is foolishness, right? And a fool will return to their folly. Like a dog returns to its vomit. But we don't have to do that, right? And remember, all wisdom, all truth comes from the Most High God and the Supreme Judge, as they called him, which was beautiful to see inside of a document written by our military. Doing the right thing is always hard, and there are always consequences, but you will never regret it. Amen. Amen. Doing the right thing is always the right thing to do. So, I wanted to get on here and talk to you guys about that, see what your thoughts were. Obviously, a lot of you are already in agreement. What an interesting time. What an interesting time to be here. You were made for such a day as this. Oh, excuse me, I can't beat my yawns this afternoon. Oh man, I'm 15 minutes behind. Brandon, you're good. We got to understand that if we were made for such a day as this, we were made to have the mind that we have, right? Point to note here is the Constitution. Our oaths to support and defend that. Office holders do not trump that document. Based Robert Luxmore. And I read in scripture the other day we shouldn't take oaths. And maybe this is one of the reasons. Maybe we're reaping the fruit of that is we took an oath to something that man made rather than taking an oath to the Most High Creator. And I wonder if taking an oath to the Most High Creator and focusing on serving Him would have solved this problem from the get-go. I believe so, right? Personally, right? So it's definitely rather interesting, right? Do.
Yeah, I already gave her the transparent background logo.
So focus in on what actually matters. What do you have control over? Your family, your community, the positive change that you can affect, right? You can do a lot to benefit other people here locally. We can focus on the doom and gloom of the world. Oh my gosh, Ukraine is calling for NATO troops, and Putin said that if NATO troops come in that he's going to nuke people and he's going to unleash a new type of hell. Stop. 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 Know that there are good people everywhere, right? The media does such a good job, right, at pushing out negative information. Fear is of the enemy, right? So we see fear of the enemy rampant, and we do not have to do that. We can have faith, and we can operate in faith, and we can do things to bless others. We can focus on being a resource to people. A resource. Serve one another in love. We get to do that. We get to serve one another in love. We get to walk alongside our community members. We get to help and aid the people around us. We have that opportunity. The day is what you make of it, right? You can sit inside of doomer porn. You can sit inside of fear-mongering. You can do all those things, and you can spin and twirl and spiral so easily. Or you can put action over anxiety. And you can see that you have the ability to make a positive change. Even if it's one person, ask your neighbor, hey, do you need help getting some food storage? The world's crazy. Just like a pantry, like a month's worth of food storage, maybe 2, all right? Do you want some help with your garden this year? Hey, you've been talking to me about chickens for a while. I want to get you some chickens. It costs $50 and I'll help you build the chicken coop. It's easy, right? We have the ability to impact one another in such a positive way, right? Yeah, if we followed the laws of the Most High, all the other things would fall into place. And we're reaping the fruit of the harvest of lawlessness. We perpetuated it in our nation for well over 100 years. For well over 100 years. All right? Okay, Nove, that's awesome. I give away a lot of my chicken eggs to those that need. That's awesome. That is seriously great. That's a blessing. That's using your own independent resources for good. That's using what the Father is giving you. Your harvest, right? And you're tithing your harvest out. That's awesome, right? We have to continue to work alongside one another, right? You might not be good at tree work, but your neighbor might be, right? And you might be a great construction worker, right? Or a great carpenter. Trade, barter. Step outside their broken system, right? There's no longer a need to operate in it. We can be the wheat among the tares. The time will come for harvest. But right now, be the wheat nonetheless. The wheat does not worry about what the tare is doing, for the wheat knows that it is going to be harvested. The tare is just a facade. Lauren, TQ check, right arm, go. She's running. She's running right now.
They really say Lauren?
Yep, they said tell Lauren TQ check. She's got one. She's got one on, right arm. She's getting it right now. She's working the windlass. She's working the windlass. Here we go. Ooh, I see the face. Are we up? Secure the tail. Secure your tail.
Dang it, man.
She's on. She's good. We got it. That's what it's all about right there. Admonish one another. Train with people, right? If you look at it, how many times could you do that for your neighbors? Could you buy a training kit for your neighbors and give them the ability to train with this stuff so that they have the capability? Could you teach them what you know? And you don't have to know everything. I don't know close to much, right? But what I do know, I pass forward, right? And then other people pass forward unto me so that I can continue to learn. We should all be striving to continue to learn, right? We should all be continuing to strive to help one another. It is so easy to teach people how to do this stuff. Stop the bleed is a very simple stuff, right? Please eat butter. Everybody should be eating raw butter. Raw butter is good for you. Stop eating seed oils. Wound pack. Need a good basic life-saving training kit. We have a stop the bleed training kit. We don't really have like a BLS training kit, but like it's similar, right? It's similar. You're going to have like patented airway work, chest seal work, massive bleeding work, stuff like that. It's a great kit. It's under $100. Easy peasy. Sometimes a kind word, a scripture, a little brotherly accountability really helps. I got a good buddy who does that for me. Jason Howard, that is so true, brother. That's wisdom right there. Being able to talk to people. So, how often do you feel alone? And do you think this channel is about tactical medicine, saving lives, and worshiping the Most High? How often do you feel alone, right? If you're feeling alone, is it possible that those around you are also feeling that way, right?
Hey there, Alex. It's Jay from Refuge Medical. Here to let you know that your order is ready and is being shipped over now to our shipping department. Just take care and be safe out there and have a wonderful rest of your day, all right?
Look at him. Look at him go. So why do we do that? Why do we send a personalized message? It costs us thousands of dollars every month to spend that labor to do it. So why? Why do we do it? Because we want people to know that they matter. We want people to know that they're not a number. They're not alone. And you have that power. You have the power to reach out to others around you and say, hey, I was thinking about you. I love you. I appreciate you. What do you need? You don't need anything? You want to just hang out, sit there, talk, look at the sky, right? Stuff like that. It really does matter. Is it financially feasible for us to make those messages? No, some CFO will tell us not to do it. Okay, cool, bro. Good thing we're not in this for the money. You sell medical kits. Yeah, we sell medical kits. We do. We sell the best damn medical kits on the planet. 100%. And I'm sure a bunch of people in the chat will support me in that. We have a big 20% off sale right now that I'm supposed to talk about on this live, but we decided to talk about things that matter, right? I replaced a lot of my med gear into a new bag last night. It's basically a stomp bag now. Based. Bob, I don't hear much about Refuge training nowadays. Are y'all still up and running? Yeah, we're still doing training. We have a training May 5th, and then we also have a training July 20th. So we do trainings here locally. We're not on the road anymore. On the road was really, really hard on people. It was really hard on the company, and it was very challenging to send out people constantly and then be able to live a life that's advantageous. Do you sell carriers for the kits? Yeah, so we sell them inside like nylon bag. Like we sell a variety of different stuff, man. So example being the SOB, right? Small to back kit, goes on a range belt, super easy, sits right here, very comfortable. You have a cat tourniquet that goes right here. You'd stage it, obviously take it out of the wrapper, and then you would deploy this out, and now you've got a full blowout kit in your hands. The glove popped out because you don't open it upside down. Combat gauze, emergency trauma dressing, extra wound packing gauze, chest seals, flat duct tape, a nasopharyngeal airway, all right there for you, right? And it's just one of the kits. I mean, the SOB is you know, a good kit though. We need to pray for all those currently in the military. We need to pray for all of those in general. We need to pray for people. What do you think about ankle medical kits? I'm currently wearing one. I love our ankle kits, and I'll tell you why. So, I fought us making an ankle kit for probably about 2 years, and so did TJ, our CEO. He was like, no, we're not doing it, we're not doing it, we're not doing it. Because they're hot, they're bulky, they don't ever look right, they don't flex well when you move. And so we got with our designer, Cody, and we figured out a design that actually works. So you have a stiff part right here, and then you have a stiff part right here. But then everything else in this kit flexes and moves, and it's very breathable. And this is an awesome kit. You have full blowout capability, wraps around your ankle, and it's very low profile, and it's lightweight, high quality stuff. It's very, very good. So I like this. Says, seriously, dude, the site even has a guide to help you pick which IFAK is best for you and your situation. Yep, very true, Rupana. And I mean, we have a chat that's open most of the time. I mean, they still sleep and are human beings, but we have a chat that's open most of the time as a resource for you guys. So that way, if you do. Oh, there we go. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, right. The algorithm didn't like what we were putting down. Yeah, we probably should have like talked about Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is awesome. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love that she's dating that football player and stuff and everything. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Very cool. Very, very cool. So somebody asked Kasho what's in the ankle kit. The ankle kit comes with tourniquet. It comes with a Sharpie, halo chest seals, additional gauze, wound packing gauze, and a elastic bandage. All the like secure wound packing and stuff like that. It's awesome. It's a full blowout kit. So if you were to get shot, stabbed, or suffer an arterial bleed or a puncture to the pleural space, your box here, it'll help you out. Oh, what up, coal miner's daughter? Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, guys, so I don't have a ton right now unless you guys got anything for YouTube? Nope.
Buy things while you can. They're going quickly out of stock.
Britt said buy stuff while you can because they're quickly going out of stock and she's running out.
I ain't got much stock.
She's like, I ain't got much left. Don't wait till the end of the day. Stop. TJ has already made a video about it. We already made media posts about it. So get in on the 20% off sale while you can. 20% off all the kits. Doesn't matter what it is. We just want medical to go into people's hands because we really think that you guys are going to need it. And we saw, like yesterday itself, we got one for sure life saved, and one of them is definitely being evaluated as a life saved just yesterday. People are using these kits. They are. They're having a huge impact. And so I'd really think about it, guys. Truly appreciate all of you. When I get paid, Shalom, Bob. Surprised I'm getting sing-along on 200 acres here. I'm at and have an ankle kit now working on cars. Very cool. It does have chest seals, Kinetic. It does. It does. It does. We use the Halo chest seals. Also, if you're like looking for something super slick, run a slick kit. This like goes in the back pocket like a billfold right here. Boom. Very easy. You don't notice it's there, right? And with it, you got chest seals. You have combat gauze. You have a flat ETD. You have a duct tape strip right in the middle. Then you have your gloves. Pair that with a soft T tourniquet, you're very good to go. You're good to go. Do you have any kids? Wouldn't you like to know, internet weirdo? Why would you ask that? Maybe. What are these products? These products are medical kits. They save lives. We're out here just trying to save lives. Why are you asking if I have kids? No. No, I ain't got no kids.
Hey, it's Jay from
What up, Lone Star Living?
here to let you know that your order is ready and headed to the
Dylan.
department.
Bob, do you have any of the feline TQs we do not speak of? LOL. Like these? Like these right here? Meow. Cat tourniquets, North American Rescue. Does the Bearfac have all this? The Bearfac is insane. The Bearfac covers the full Marchi algorithm and then some. It also has some burn capability. It also has some boo-boo capability. It's a very, very cool kit. Are y'all pushing any sales towards hospitals and emergency rooms? Not right now. We're pushing sales towards the general public. We're trying to get individuals the components and gear, and here's why. Hospitals are currently planning for mass casualty incidences across the country. They're getting FEMA training. They're getting all these resources that are dumped towards them, and they're not going to be able to take care of everybody. You look at all the hospitals in the country right now, the surge capacity that they have, that's 3 to 5% of the population. That's what they can handle. So you're going to need stuff, right? And so our focus is much more on the individual. It's much more so on like families, making sure families have what they need, all that stuff. Any baby bear updates? I don't know, and I'm not at liberty to say. That is not my situation. And I'm not going to speak on my brother's stuff. Stock started disappearing yesterday. Yeah, it did. What kit would you recommend for a classroom? We have this kit called the desk kit. Will you throw me that bad mamma jamma right behind you? Boom, boom, boom. All right. So the desk kit, this fits inside of a file folder, like an actual folder. You can put it in your desk. And this is literally built for classrooms. That's what we wanted to do, is we wanted to build a kit that can sit inside the teacher's desk. So you have a Cat Gen 7 tourniquet. You have a SWAT T tourniquet, which can act for children. You have a Schlissman pressure wrap, which can be a tourniquet for a child. 2 sets of compressed gauze, 7 1/4 inch trauma shears, 2 pairs of gloves, survival blanket, flat duct tape, a set of chest seals, 5x9 gauze pads. Then you have medical tape, a 4-inch trauma dressing, all in this bad mamma jamma right here. Slide that in a file folder. No one knows. No one's all the wiser. You know it's there. This should be in every single classroom in America, in my personal opinion. This should be in every classroom in America. It's very easy. It doesn't have to be mounted to the wall. It's low cost, so that way teachers can grab one. It's an awesome resource for students and for teachers. Was in our ER last night, and I asked and heard the MD. I asked the MHD where they carry their TQs. He said he thinks they are in the equipment storage room, none on the ER floor. Why would you need that on the ER? Actually, we have a life saved from an ER doc that had a blue training tourniquet in his pocket from our class. And somebody had made a makeshift tourniquet with a chainsaw wound and brought them in, and the tourniquet started to fail. He pulled out his blue TQ and he used it right there, saved a life. Yeah, so I'm going to practice using the MPA on myself. It's going to suck. I don't know that I'd do that, personally. I don't know that I'd do that. I'd find a buddy. A pal, a friend. They're mostly in crash carts in the halls. Depends on the hospital. Some are, some aren't. Sometimes they have them in crash carts. Sometimes they have like rubber TQs, which it'll stop the bleed in the meantime. You're already in the hospital, so. Just got a video from Jay letting me know that my order is shipping and heading out to go. That's some crazy good customer service. Hey, thanks. Jay, somebody said thank you.
I appreciate it.
He appreciates it. He's choked up over there. He enjoys what he does. He's blessed, man. We are very blessed that this is our job, that this is what we get to do. It's nutty. It's nutty to me, at least. It blows my mind that this is what we get to do every day. Refuge has the best customer service ever. We are just people, and we treat y'all like people, and somehow now people are like, that's the best customer service in the world. We used to just do this as a country. We used to just like treat people correctly, like they weren't just numbers and cattle. But now everything's an order number. Everything's a freaking, throughput. How fast can we get them in? How fast can we get them out? How do we maximize profit, minimize cost, all this stuff? We used to, as a country, provide services, right? What are you doing? I don't know, whatever I want. I'm a free man for now. All right. I mean, I want to be able to self-administer if I'm losing blood and about to pass out. Should I practice like putting on a TQ, right? Yeah, you should absolutely. Everybody should be practice putting it on a TQ. We do that constantly here. So, Cat Gen 7, tourniquet, right here. Boom, like so. This is orange, okay? We're going to demonstrate really quick how to put this guy on. I'll show you how to stage it, too. Okay, so, open this all the way up. You see right here that it's got a Kevlar belt. It's running through the whole tourniquet, right? How it pulls it up. That's actually what you use to constrict. So we're going to take our little buckle here at the end. We're going to grab that. We're going to grab our tail. We're going to pull and stretch. And that's going to give us a full expansion of the belt to make sure it functions properly. Then we're going to put our little tail right here through the buckle. And then I fold this over. The reason I fold this over is so I have a good tactile place to grab, right? So that way it's a good grabbing point. It's not flimsy. It's a little bit thicker. Inside of an emergency, your fine motor skills depreciate, right? So what we'll do is we'll pull this over about the length of the device here, okay? Like that. And that'll give us, is there a black tourniquet over there? This tourniquet looks awful on camera, and so I'm losing some of the teaching points. I thought I had a black cat somewhere over here.
Who has a black cat? Let me buy one real quick. No, you have a black cat?
You got a black cat over there?
What?
I'm teaching something, and this orange tourniquet isn't showing up good on camera. Woo. So, you'll fold it over like so. You'll see this little red tab, right? This gives you a good tactile pull on it, right? Then what I do is I take our time tab right here, get a time tab, and I put that up at an angle so that not all of it is on the hook and loop, right? So you see how part of this is not on this little section of hook right here. There's a little loop on the time tab. And the reason being that way, I once again have something very tactile to grab, okay? Bada bing, bada boom, like so. The windlass needs to be outside the C-clamp, okay? Easier to work. And I'll show you with the orange because I don't want to use Ren's cat tourniquet, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to use the rule of thumb. We're always going to hold it so that our thumb can go on the C-clamp. This right here, this is the C-clamp right there, okay? So we're always going to use the rule of thumb. We're going to hold it with our thumb on the C-clamp. Same way, either hand, doesn't matter, right? So rule of thumb on the C-clamp, boom, we put it over the arm, right? We're going to grab that tab that we made, and we're going to just pull it, okay? And I wrench it down, and we want it to be nice and tight. And we're going to start to secure the hook and loop, right? Just like so. Now we're not done. I have some restriction here, but not all the restriction I need. I need to work this windlass so that way the pressure takes my muscles, presses my artery against my bone, and shuts off the flow of blood, right? So we're going to start working that windlass. Boom. Boom. And it's about one turn past bad words, or what I like to say is when the bleeding has stopped, right? Because that's how we know it's working, is once it actually shuts off the blood flow, right? And it should hurt. Like, that does not feel good. I have a high pain tolerance because I do this a lot, but that hurts, right? Then we're going to fish our tail through that little C-clamp like so, and we're going to secure our time tab just like that, right? Now, the reason we fish our tail through, right? So that way if I pull it, it's not coming out. Kinetic asks, always high and tight. Inside of an emergency scenario, yeah, always go high and tight. If you have the time to assess the wound and you see that there's only one wound right there, you don't necessarily need to go high and tight. You can go 2 to 4 inches above the wound. Very easy. There's no need to cut off extra blood flow to the extremity if you don't have to. However, inside of what we call care under fire, which means bad things are still happening, you're self-applying a tourniquet, right? We're going to go high and tight, because that ensures that we're shutting off the flow to all this extremity. So even if you got hit here, maybe you also got hit here, we didn't see it, right? So we're just shutting it all off, right? Bad words come quickly when somebody gets shot. Pro tip, don't put it on your arm if it's your leg that's leaking. Yeah, that's a great pro tip. So then all we're gonna do, take this off. We just pull this tail, and it comes loose. Ah, yes. Everybody gets jazz hands when we do that. Very cool. Very cool. So that's how you work a Cat Gen 7 TQ. Then what you're going to do is you're always restage it. So take your windlass out of the C-clamp, unspin it like so. See all that extra space that was created? Take that buckle, redraw your bow. Make sure it's all the way expanded. Feed it back through. Go about the length of the device. Fold it over. Sorry, Josh. I'll call you back, bro. Josh just called me. It's okay. I see you. Is it emergency? Tell me if it's an emergency right now. I'll stop the live. What a bonus tourniquet training. Yeah. A lot of people in Ukraine have full amputations due to high and tight being left too long. Yeah. Tourniquet conversion is a thing. We call it the golden hour. And so being able to take a tourniquet off and properly wound pack, right, or assess it if you need to, that's a big deal, especially in Ukraine, because it used to be like, oh, you know, you have enough time, right? And we're going to be able to get you to where it needs to be. A lot of people also have amputations in Ukraine right now for tourniquets improperly applied, wrong size tourniquets, not having a 2-inch diameter. That's a big, big deal. The whole life over limb thing comes to the diameter of the tourniquet. So if I were to take an S-Mark bandage or a SWAT T and go...
Any chance you saw that code texted to that phone?
Yeah, I did. Do you want it?
Yeah, I do.
Hey, don't share with anybody.
93, 47, settle, dos. Boom, easy peasy. Heads up for new people. You will not be getting back the TQ if used in an emergency. No, you won't. What is this? What is all this for? All wounds, like what? The background of this video. Yeah, so great question. This is for like traumatic bleeding. If you're suffering like an arterial bleed in one of your extremities, right? So your arms or your legs, that's what you would use that for, is to shut off arterial blood flow, right? And that way we don't bleed out and die. A lot of people don't realize this. The #1 preventable cause of death in the US right now is massive bleeding. Usually due to some sort of car accident, right? So car accident happened and we have a massive bleed and nobody has a tourniquet. You mean you aren't supposed to restage the TQ in an emergency? Yeah, dude, isn't that crazy? I had a dude yell at me for taking off tourniquets in training. Said that I was creating a training scar because somebody else would take it off. And I'm like, so I'm just supposed to leave it on? He's like, yes. I was like, I would have no arms and legs left, buddy. I'd look like that dude that had no arms and legs. Then I had a dude tell me that if I put a tourniquet on, I would literally lose my arm. And I was like, buddy, everybody who worked here would have no arms and legs if that was true. I literally, we've shown you time and time again. Of course, white flour, of course. So, extremities, we're going to manage that with a tourniquet, right? But Bob, what if I get hit in a junctional area, like my pelvic girdle? Great question, random citizen. Let's talk about it. How long can you leave it on for? The longest successful application of a Cat Gen 7 tourniquet without irreversible nerve damage was 19 hours. Now, they had to do stuff in the aftercare process for that reversing of nerve damage, but we have a recording of 19 hours, right? So you can leave it on for a while, but there's going to be some stuff that has to happen in the aftercare process, right? Because, guys, if you put a tourniquet on, you've won the surgery lottery. What? I need surgery if I use a tourniquet? Yeah. Your fucking artery severed, you crazy people. How'd it go? Great?
Talk to the admin secretaries.
Nice. They teach TQ equals loss of limb. Well, that's not true anymore. You're funny, but I'm learning. We all are learning. All right, so this is Blake the Baloney. Blake the Baloney got effed up, dude. Just really struggling. So we're going to look at this wound right here. We'll call this the wound of the pelvic girdle. So your pelvic girdle is going to be like right here. We can't put a tourniquet on right here. And there's a bunch of arteries, especially right here, that run up. And so this is an absolute mess if you get hit there, right? Also junctional areas, your shoulders, armpits, stuff like that, where you can't put a tourniquet like right there. Also your butt, right? So we would wound pack. Right, now you could grab the Oleus modular bandage. That's this guy right here. I really like these guys. They're very, very cool pieces of kit. So the Oleus, and inside of it, this is what an Oleus looks like when you open it up. Not necessarily exactly when you open it up. So, hold on. Let me restage it from my last teaching on TikTok. Because I've just been giving people free teaching because I want them to not die, because that'd be super lame. I'm going to borrow these shears. Hey, thanks, Mr. Belt Kit. You're welcome, Bob. You guys don't have conversations with inanimate objects? Okay. Just me? Okay. All right. So the Oleus bandage will come wrapped up like so. Let me get her staged. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. So it'll come wrapped up like staged, like so. They'll be covered in a little bit of piece of paper. Got to go do the thing. Shalom, peeps. New folks, pay attention. Free classes are cool. See you, Chris. Yeah, it can be as worse as getting your throat cut if you don't know how to treat it, right? Like, we have things to treat it. So what we'll do is so say that he took a hit in the pelvic girdle right here. First thing I'm going to do, boom, I'm going to drop some pressure on that, right? I'm going to try to put pressure so that way hopefully it stops the bleeding, or at least slows it down while I get my stuff done. I get my package opened and all that stuff, right? So we're opening up our package and we're like, hey, call 911. What's your name? Your name's Jim. Jim's been hurt. He's been shot in the pelvic girdle. Jim, how old are you? And we're talking to our patient to keep him calm, right? Because he's screaming his freaking mind out, right? So once we get this open, inside of the bandage is compressed gauze. This is why I really like the Oleus, because it's one less package that you have to open on the X, right? So what we do is we take the very end and we're going to tie it in a knot. This is called the power knot. Okay? Now, how it works is if you're with me, class, we'll take a second here. Go ahead and take your thumb, point it out like so. Take a look at your thumb. That's about the average size of your femoral artery, which is what runs right here on the inside of your legs up into your pelvic girdle. So that's what's bleeding, right? And so it's about the size of a garden hose, right? So if you partially sever it, it's still pressurized, so it's spraying. If you completely sever it, it's flowing out, right? The pooling of blood. So what we're going to do is when is it moving? When the heart beats, right? Boom, 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 boom. Depending on what your heart rate is, boom, 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 boom. Whatever your heart rate is, it's pumping that blood faster. So we're going to take our power knot, and we're going to go into the wound channel, and we're going to... There we go. We're back. Okay. So we're going to drive that in to wherever our artery is, wherever that pulsing is. Now, it's very important that at this point, okay, at this point, we are maintaining pressure the whole time, right? Now, obviously, you have gloves on when you're doing this. I'm teaching. I'm not using gloves, all right? So we're going to take another little run, and we're going to come into the wound, and we're going to back and support that, okay? And we're going to keep supporting that knot against that artery because it's pressure. The same way a tourniquet works in constricting, we're going to try to do that as well. And as we back that knot up, we're going to work all around it. So we're going to go up, down, left, right, and we're going to fill the whole cavity, right? So it's very possible that the wound is going to get bigger, right? It's not going to be the same size. And this is a pretty big wound cavity here. So we're going to keep filling, and every time you'll notice my hand stays on there because I'm keeping that pressure, right? I'm never letting that pressure off. And we're maintaining and we're filling that entire wound cavity with gauze. We're maintaining that pressure and we're filling that wound cavity with gauze, right? We're constantly building back support throughout the entire wound cavity. And do you think that this is going to hurt the patient? Or is going to hurt like a mofo, right? They're going to be screaming. You're going to need somebody to hold them down, right? So, gamer. He was on the stream last night. You're better than that, bro. All right. So we're going to keep filling in that wound channel. Making sure that it has a ton of pressure throughout the whole thing. Like, I honestly could use more gauze in this one right here. All right. So if you look, this is now raised up right here from all that wound packing, right? So you have all that wound packing is raised up right there. So to all the people who say, hey, you can just use a tampon. Okay, guy. We'll get to that in a second. So after that, we're going to maintain pressure, right? So we just wound packed right there. We got to get our emergency trauma dressing. We need to wrap it up to make sure we maintain that pressure. So I'm going to keep my elbow on it. Then I'm going to put this. I really like the Oleus because it has a little bulb right here, a little plastic bulb. That can also be used as an eye shield, but it helps add additional pressure to the wound. So we're going to take that. We're going to open it up and we're going to wrap that area up. All right. Now, if you're going with a pelvic girdle, you might have to get creative, use belt loops, whatever have you, to secure it and maintain good pressure. What I like to do, okay, is after the first wrap, I give it a good twist to decrease the surface area and increase the pressure on the wound, right? And now we're secured up. We're looking good. He's wrapped. The bleeding is stopped. We're going to check to make sure that the bleeding is stopped. Now we can communicate, hey, I've wound packed, I've used non-hemostatic, or I've used hemostatic gauze, and we're going to try to get him to the higher level of care, right? So M being the massive bleeding, this is the massive bleeding. Check airway, check respiratory, check his circulation, check for head injury. We're prevented hypovolemic shock right here by mitigating blood loss. We still need to monitor for that and shock symptoms. And then also, depending on how much blood has two jobs. I don't know if you know this, it carries oxygen and it carries heat, right? So now we need to maintain for hypothermia, which means, hey, everybody has a little burrito blanket, a little Mylar blanket. We're going to cover this guy up in a Mylar blanket because we're going to keep that warmth in him, and we're going to transpo him to a hospital, right? All right, good to go. Now, let's take a quick gander at how much gauze is inside of this wound, right? So, my uncle's cousin's brother was in the military, and he said that you can just use a tampon. Okay. Okay, guy. Take a quick gander at all the gauze that's in that right here.
Hey there, David. It's Jay from
Look
Refuge
here.
Medical, here to let you know that your order is ready.
That's how much gauze we've got inside of that wound.
That's a lot of gauze.
It's a lot more than a tampon, right? So a lot more than a tampon. Don't use something that's not made for that, right? Tampons also have anticoagulant inside of them, which means that it helps prevent clotting. We want, and for my next trip, yeah, right? Don't do magic. Magic bad, right? Tampons don't stop bleeding. It's just a thing, right? So I really like the Oleus bandage. It is a badass product. It's like $8. We sell it at the store, refugemedical.com. You can go grab it right now. This is a badass product. Also, this little plastic cup right here, you can just rip this off and you can use it as an eye shield and then wrap. Gosh. Does cayenne pepper work as a hemostatic? It can, but it's not as good as a hemostatic. Get actual hemostatics, and we don't want to pour granules into a wound because then we have to debride those granules in the wound, right? And so we don't want to have to remove all that cayenne pepper. What we want to do is use a hemostatic impregnated gauze because that's going to be much more successful. Something like Quick Clot, right? Made by Teleflex. And so,
Yeah, cayenne pepper works better on chicken.
yeah, cayenne pepper is great for chicken. Cayenne pepper is awesome for chicken. Yeah, I wouldn't use cornstarch either. I'd use a hemostatic impregnated gauze. That way we're not having to do debridement, right? So we're not having to go through and spray and scrape all that stuff out of the wound, right? So hemostatic impregnated gauze, both of these have a blue line in them that'll pop up on an x-ray too. So that way we can see all of it, because what we don't want is something that's going to cause a clot to stay in there, right? And then potentially throw a clot later on because it didn't get all removed. Celox versus Quick Clot, dude, this Pepsi versus Coke. They're both awesome hemostatics. It really depends on what your vibe is. I have both Celox Rapid and Quick Clot Combat Gauze on me right now. Yeah, get medical stuff. Don't stuff an F load of food into wounds, y'all. That doesn't help. Yeah, that's based. Yeah, Badger hid that because you said the F word, but yeah. Combat Lifesaver or Adventure Kit for our farm? That is an awesome question. I would say Adventure Kit every time, and I'll show you why. One, I've used Adventure Kits on the farm, and they're freaking awesome. Two, it works for animals and people. Three, you have a little bit more everyday capability. We're going to the Adventure Kit. And if they're out of stock and you want one, hit the live chat. Britt will give you one. It'll just be a little bit of lead time. What can you do for neck bleeds? What we just talked about, junctional areas, right? You can pack it differently. You can wrap it. You want to get pressure on the arteries. That's your main thing. Keep the blood in the body. So this is the Adventure Kit. Dude, Kinetic is out here asking good questions. So that all comes inside the Adventure Kit right there. So you have Adventure wipes, you have OTC wipes, over-the-counter med wipes, you have respiratory sets. This is going to be chest seals, as well as it's going to be like nasopharyngeal airways. A skin stapler, that's a come up right there. The skin stapler, and it's got the remover too, which is very important. Trauma shears. This is a gauze pack, so you have eye shields, eye pads, and then 2x2s, 3x3s, and 4x4 gauze pads. Very, very cool. I use the Mastiff Kit plus extras for the farm. Very cool sauce. Slishman wrap. This is a great tourniquet for the kiddos. It'll also work on pups, right? So very good. Or goats or sheep or stuff like that. Ace wrap for any sprains. Cobands for any sprains or breaks. Sam splints for splinting breaks. Boom, boom, boom. Got some eye wash here. That's just important to have on you. Allicane, so aloe vera lidocaine. Awesome piece of kit. Imodium for when you drink bad water and you got the poops, or for when you ate Chipotle and you got the poops, whatever it may be. Some finger splints through Sam, very cool. Then in this pocket right here, we've got a trauma pack with hemostatic impregnated gauze in it. This is very cool. Then you got 2 burn shield dressings, a Sharpie for drawing stuff on your friends. No, it's just for marking, for indicating, or for drawing stuff on your friends, for writing time on a tourniquet, that too. Then you've got a tourniquet right here, as well as you have your Oleus bandage, like we talked about earlier, which is very cool. Then we've got a S-Mark bandage, which is a great child tourniquet as well, or it works great as a compression wrap. Good little solution there. Then in here, we kind of got like the OTC pouch, over-the-counter pouch. So we got Band-Aids, over-the-counter medications, glucose for low blood sugar, steri strips for wound closure, hydrocortisone, triple antibiotic. We've got some skin glue, some rehydration salts if you get dehydrated, extra tape, some extra sets of gloves, some splinter out, some moleskin, all that inside of the OTC pouch, which is pretty dang awesome if you ask me. This kit is packed to the brim, and it is everything that you need for the fam at the very least. You know, like this would be, I like this kit like as a civilian CLS, bro. Do you trust the SWAT TQ? Yeah, I trust the SWAT TQ. Of course I do. Do I like it the best? No, that's okay. Everybody has preferences. I like the Slishman a little bit better, and here's why. The Slishman doesn't slip when it gets wet. That's a big thing. The SWAT can slip when it gets wet. I don't like that. But it's not a deal breaker. There's There's a time for all things. It's the stretch, wrap, and tuck, bro. It's a great tourniquet. You know, make sure that that's packed correctly. Otherwise, somebody's going to punch me in the head because I messed it up. And they're going to be like, Bob, how could you mess it up? I can't pack it wrong. What's wrong with it? I switch it? Ah, see, I already did it wrong. It's coming over here to fix it. What about the rat TQ? No, I don't like the rat TQ. Rat TQ is a bad tourniquet option. It fails, it breaks. It's hard to get 2 inches, which can cause nerve damage. It's not easy to apply with one hand. And there's a lot of times if you need a TQ, you have to apply with one hand. And so that's why we recommend the Cat Gen 7 and the Soft T Gen 5, because that's what it works. It just works. How much weight can the litter handle? Which litter? We sell a couple. Thanks, bro. That's a quick look at the adventure kit. All that. Got the rat in a subscription box, threw it away. Yeah, they're maybe in like a hospital setting, like a pre-op setting, like in a very controlled setting, you could use the rats and do it well. But you got to think about, yeah. There we go. So if you think about the rats, like you have this little cord and you have to like stack that cord right next to each other to create 2 inches. That's rough. That's very hard to do. Very, very hard to do. So yeah. All right, guys, we did a demo tourniquet. We did a demo wound packing, showed the adventure kit, hung out, talked about cool stuff. You got a few hours left of the 20% off Leap sale. If you want to take advantage of it, cool. If you don't, cool. We love you regardless. Bob's face when the screen faces. Yeah, I get really frustrated, to be honest. It does frustrate me. Each litter. I think each litter is rated for at a minimum of 250 pounds. Now, dude, all that changes depending on how you're using it. If you're dragging it, it changes. If you're carrying it, it changes. What kit would you recommend for inside, outside of a Minuteman bag? Currently have my Bearfact 2.0 mollied on the outside. It's a little bulky for EDC. What I would do is you have 2 options. You can take the inner out, right? Take the inner out of the Bearfact and put it on the inside of the Minuteman bag. Or if you wanted to go really, really slick, you could take either a slick kit or a POC kit and you can slide it in there and then put a tourniquet with it. And then you have a blowout capability. Maybe add some Band-Aids and stuff like that. But those are good options. Yes, no F-bombs in the chat, guys. It's a kid-friendly show. I try my best. I try my absolute best. What do you think about carrying a cravat for use as a tourniquet? I think a plan to improvise is a plan to fail. Why not just carry an effing tourniquet, bro? Well, I carry a cravat because it could be used as a tourniquet. No, just carry a tourniquet. Carry a tourniquet and a cravat. Just, it's not that hard, right? Thanks, Bob. I'll look into those options. Absolutely, Irish Cream. Love the pocket for everyday bag. Yeah, I personally have a slick kit in my Minuteman bag when I use it. I don't use it a ton, but when I do, I have a slick kit in there because they're so easy. The slick kit is magnifique. All right, cool. I'm going to hop off. I'm going to keep pushing orders here. We got orders piling up and piling up. Guys, if you want to take advantage of the sale, you better hurry up because
Sure.
Brit is out. She's out of the ability.
Our last bit of Bearfax.
Last bit of Bearfax in stock. What would you suggest for the children's TQ? I spent a while last night reading about softened cat and rats and stretch band types. What do you suggest for younger kids? Eric, that's a great question. So what I suggest is the SWAT T is great. The S Mark is great. Those are those stretch bands. But what I really, really like is this. This is a Schlishman wrap, okay? The Schlishman wrap opens up, and there's a little band, just like so, okay? And what you do is I'll show you on this guy right here.
On my arm?
No, so we'll just say that this is a kid's arm, because you could use it on a bigger one too, right? And you'll pull this like tight, like so, right? And then we'll wrap around it.
There's also a video on YouTube putting it on.
Yeah, there's also a video of us putting it on YouTube. like so. In each wrap, you get more compression.
Hey there, Rhonda. It's Jay from Refuge Medical here to let you know that your order is ready and it's heading to the shipping department.
Like so. So you can see how it's restricted even on this big baloney. Designed for children. Dr. Sam Slishman is the one who designed this. This is a great option. It doesn't slip when it's wet, which is why I struggle with the SWAT T and the S Mark as that option. It's like the it's like the ultimate pressure bandage. Yeah, it is an ultimate pressure bandage. It's very, very cool. And so then when it comes to the Rats Tourniquet, go ahead and give that to your dog as a chew toy. Rats Tourniquet used to be the Rapid Tourniquet, and I believe they got sued out of existence because it's not a good tourniquet. It's just not. I don't care what the company says. I don't care what the popular company says. I will fight this to the death. You can't. I've not seen people successfully put it on with one hand. I've gotten it to break multiple times. I've gotten it to come undone in buddy drags multiple times. It's in my best interest to have a tourniquet that is that affordable on the market. I'd be able to make money off of it. Don't get it twisted. Making money is not the primary objective. The primary objective is to save lives while in service to the Father's kingdom. And so that's what we're going to focus on, which means giving you guys good information, whether it's profitable for us or not. It doesn't matter. It's about saving the lives, right? So that's what we're all about, is saving lives. So I would take that cat and or take that rat and not use it. And I would, think seriously about the old Slishman here. And then for an adult, Soft Tea or Cat Gen 7. Haha, bro, I'll be on the top of that hill with you. Yeah, for sure. Great Rambo headband. Yeah. Do you have a background in first aid? I have a background as a contractor, and then I have been in the first aid world now for a few years. But I wasn't a medic. I guess technically I am now, but not like a paramedic or anything like that. Prayers, Bob. Yeah, we can pray real quick. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Father, thank you for all the people here. I ask that you just continue to lead us. Please guide us in your will. Teach us. Show us what you need us to show. Let us be a light on the hill, Father. Let us lead people to you. I ask that if any of these kits be used to save you, save them unto you, Yeshua. It's in your name that we ask this. Amen. Amen, amen. Rock and roll. I love y'all. I'm going to hop off. I'm going to go do my job. Shalom.